Hey guys, today I want to do a really quick video on if I think you can be a travel agent and work another job. I've been asked this a lot. Is it something that you can do like as like a part-time thing or, you know, whatever? So I'll give my honest advice and you can do with it what you will. So my backstory is I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. And then I started posting videos on YouTube in like 2010, 2011. And I didn't make hardly anything. It was like pennies, but like I would get cool products here and there, but it kind of gave me something to do. Plus it was really cool to look back on the memories that we made. And then in August of 2016, we moved to Georgia and we moved in June and I became a Scentsy consultant and that took off. And I was actually making pretty okay money for being at home and not having to do much. At the time, my youngest was being homeschooled and then my other kids were in school. And then last year, over the summer, I started working as a travel agent in June of 2017. So now that was 2 years ago. Didn't think I was going to be super busy, but actually YouTube, Instagram is how I've gotten a ton of my clients. It surprised me that the friends and family that all talk to you, they are the least likely people to book a trip with you, and it's like a proven fact type thing. But you guys have grown my business, and then I have had friends and family, and then, you know, as you get to know people, like where I'm kind of active in my kids' schools, people have booked with me that way, just travel through word of mouth. So I was pretty busy last year, and you know, my daughter was in preschool, and so my mornings and evenings were really chaotic because I had like basically 2 to 3 hours in like car line traveling, taking kids to and from school, and then I worked and I went to the gym and I stayed pretty busy. And I wasn't really making a lot of money last year. I was bringing in it here and there, but like, you know, a lot of times when you book vacations for people, whether it be a cruise or Disney or Universal, which is the main things I do, you know, you start working, you can work for years before you pay someone. Like for instance, my first client booked, I think in like July of 2017, and we had planned for them to travel in October of 2018. Yeah, so July of 2018. October, excuse me. They ended up having to change things. They actually didn't travel until I think February or March. So I worked for 1.5 years before I got that commission. And like, that's something that people need to think about. Like you can work really hard some months and not have a paycheck. Like last month, the way that my travel fell with all my clients, I actually got my first time in a very long time a 0 paycheck, and I worked harder than I ever had. But then this month I got a huge paycheck because a lot of those people had traveled, and you know, I tied up all those loose ends last month, and that's why I was so busy. But then I got the paycheck this month. So, you know, if you're looking for a job that you like work that week and then you get paid, being a travel agent is not it. So don't get into it for that reason. If it's a job to do something that you really like and you want to do, and you're okay getting a paycheck here and there, then yes, definitely do it. So I was a travel agent all last year and I really liked it, and I stayed busy. And then, you know, I'm pretty active in my kids' school, and I was a PTA board member, and everyone was like, you need to sub, you need to sub, you need to sub. So I didn't know what I needed to do to sub. So last year at the end of the year, I took the classes that I needed and I did all this stuff and I turned in all my paperwork. And then at the beginning of the year, I got hired as a sub in September like 13th, I think. And you know, I had talked to a lot of friends that were subs, that were PTA board members that had later gotten hired or whatever. And they all told me like, oh, you know, don't worry about it. You'll definitely work like 2 days a week, something like that. So I was like, oh, that's gonna be perfect. That's gonna be great. And then I could do my travel agency business and all that stuff. Well, I kept getting call after call after call, and then once you start subbing, then word of mouth gets around about you, and you know, teachers were requesting me, and I was working 4 to 5 days a week pretty much since September. I would put in for the days that like I had a Disney work to do. So like, you know, mainly in the mornings you're gonna have to do ADRs or fast pass days. That's pretty much all you have to do in the morning. So I would mark those mornings off, but I would always get a call. But that worked in my favor because when you do dining for someone, it's at 6 o'clock. When you do fast passes, it's at 7 o'clock. So normally they would call me at like 7:15, and I'm like, sure, I can come in, but it'll be a little bit late. So that works really well. So if you have a lenient school district like I do, or you can pull that card and just wait for them to call you, you could totally get everything done and not worry about it. So what I learned really quickly after I was really subbing a lot, it was really nice getting like double paychecks. However, I had to be extremely organized. And if you want to do 2 jobs, you can do it, but you have to be extremely organized. So I put in my calendar when something is due. So when I have to do, if I'm talking Disney, fast passes or dining or final payment, or when I'm gonna send a goodie package, or when I need to make sure the magic bands are done, you know, some emails that I need to send, I put all of those in my planner, not only the day that I need to do them, but also a week ahead reminder in case I need to send someone a reminder and saying, hey, your fast pass day is next week. If you want me to do these fast passes, or you need assistance planning these fast passes, we need to get together and think about it, so that I have time to think about it. Because if I'm doing it last minute, then it's gonna be a oh no situation for both me and my clients. So, you know, get really organized. So I have my planner, which I was using a lot for that. And then I actually got a giant wall calendar and I put everything there so that I can also look at that as well, to keep me super, super organized. And basically I go to work every day as a teacher, and throughout the day I'm getting text messages and emails and whatever, and if it's not something that's important, I will wait until I get home. And the latest I've ever been home is at 3:30, but typically I was home around 3 o'clock. If it's something that I felt was something that needed to be addressed, I would send them a text message and say, hey, I'm working at the school today. I will address this at 3 o'clock. Or if it was something that really needed to be addressed, I have a 45-minute planning time and I have a 30-minute lunch that I have every day. And so I would take it and deal with those things then. And a lot of times I could get a lot of stuff done in those time periods, and I was just eating at my desk and getting things done. So, you know, if you have a job that's lenient like that, then you could totally do it. However, there were times where I needed to, you know, the Disney site crashed or something went down, or, you know, something crazy happened and I was like, what do I do? Like, it was a stressful situation. So is it doable? For sure. Is it something that I could do long term? I don't think so. If my Disney business continues to grow, I'll have to look into alternatives. Like, my mom lives with me now. She had to move in with us because she retired, and honestly she couldn't afford to retire. So she's living with us now while she kind of, like, you know, pays off her debts and things like that. So I may honestly employ my mom to start handling some of these things. I'm going to try to train her over the summer, and we'll kind of tag team it if we need to, if it's an emergency situation like that, where I say, hey, can you call and make this dining reservation for this client or whatever. But, you know, you just have to be super organized, and you can't give both your all. You know, I work all day. Sometimes I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I work on Disney client stuff, and then I get ready and I get my kids ready and we go to work, and then I teach all day, and then I come home and I'm working at my desk until 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. There are some days that happens, and it's crazy and it's hard, and I literally take a break to make my kids dinner and give them, you know, get them set up for bedtime. And I'm like frustrated and I'm sad and I'm upset, but it's like at the end, it also is really rewarding that I've been able to plan these people's vacations and things like that. You know, the hours can be long. You can have some weeks where you are working both jobs pretty much full time and you are exhausted and you don't feel like there's an end in sight. And then there are some weeks where work is just really, really chill and easy and quiet. My last week of school, which if you're a teacher or if you have kids, you know how crazy the last week of school is, as I'm teaching. And I had one big group of people traveling, and it was their fast pass day, and the internet went out. Someone had hit internet pole. Didn't have internet that morning. Thank God the client was able to get on and fix everything. Same week, I had a client, their dining day was actually on a Sunday. Realized that on Saturday because I hadn't planned, because it was such a crazy week, and I had to like basically like grovel at their feet and say, hey, I'm so sorry I messed up, you know, we need to figure out your dining because it's tomorrow morning and I got to get up and do this for you. And we were able to do it. But, you know, so there are situations where it's stressful. However, I'm going to be really transparent. That's how I am. I am a travel agent because I love talking about Disney Cruises are now exciting for me now that I've done one, and I would like to see more people take cruises and assist them in planning, but there's not a lot I can do for a cruise client. You know, I can book it for them, I can look for special deals, I can tell them what I would do, I can look at special ports and tell them things that I would do, but cruises are very, you know, person specific to what they would do, what their family would do, so really you're not doing a ton besides kind of just chatting with them is how I felt with my cruise clients. Universal's the same kind of deal. Like, you know, you can do dining 30 days in advance, but really it's just kind of like telling them where things are and like what they should do, but there's not a lot of planning. Disney, there's a lot of planning. Like, I do touring plans for my clients if they want them. You know, we're planning their dining, we're planning their fast passes, we're planning all these things, their magic band colors, da 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 da. So it's like, I love talking to people about their trips. I love planning these trips with people. I love sharing my advice, and I love the fact that every time I go to Disney, I've heard from a client on something that they tried that I hadn't done and they loved it, and so it gives me something new to try or something different to try. Or because I'm a travel planner, I like to experience new things to tell my clients about it. So that's been really, really fun for me. And you know, we travel a lot, and the perks and the benefits for me being a travel planner and traveling are there. However, they're there because I've worked my butt off to get them. They don't just come to you because you decide to become a travel planner. Like, you have to put in a lot of hours and book a lot of clients before you can get some of these things. And you know, I worked hard for them, so that's something that I want to keep. I want to keep those privileges of me being a travel planner and those perks of me being a travel planner, because you know, you don't get insurance, you don't get 401k, you don't get all those things. You know, you do have to pay a lot of taxes on it because you're, you know, technically a independent contractor or whatever. But it's really, really rewarding and really, really enjoyable. And when you guys send me pictures of your trips and I see your kids all dolled up, or I just hear about something that happened that was great, it just makes me realize, like, that's why I do it. I truly love what I do, and it's very, very enjoyable, but it is very, very tiring. This year I felt almost broke me. It was a really, really, really rough year, kind of going from basically a stay-at-home mom quickly to a work-at-home mom to then a work-at-home mom and a work-out-of-the-house mom. It was very challenging, on top of the fact that, you know, my kids are older. My mom moved in with us this year. It was just kind of a crazy year. It was very, very busy. But now that I have this year under my belt, I feel like I have a better hold on things for next year and better things that I can do and make, you know, things a lot better for me. And you have to learn to let go, you know, like, my house is not what it used to be. It doesn't look as good. I don't always cook dinner. I've had to ask for a lot of help, but I truly love both of my jobs, and I think that that's rare. I loved being a substitute teacher, and I love being a travel planner, that it just works. Next year, I am actually going to be a full-time teacher's assistant, paraprofessional, however you want to word it. So it will provide its own challenges, but I'm very, very excited to do it. I'm very, very excited to teach and have my own classroom and my own babies. I've learned and loved so many babies this year in that school that I can't wait to just have my small little group of kids that I just really get to know on a real more personal level. And then of course, you know, keep getting to know new clients and book new clients and grow my business. And it's just time, it's patience, it's effort, and it's a matter of how hard you want to work. You know, I basically am a teacher's assistant now, basically for the insurance and the great retirement, and because it's a little bit more stable. And I think that that will help me this year be a better planner, knowing, okay, you know, this is what I have to do. I get up every morning at 5 o'clock. I check Disney and make sure that there's nothing going on. I check my emails, I have my coffee, I get myself ready to go. I make my kids lunches and kind of type any loose ends before it's time to go to work. Go to work. As I'm, you know, working, I'm kind of tying up loose ends, and I just make a list. I make a to-do list every single day. I have it in my teacher bag. When I get home, I scratch off that list. Of course, on Sunday, I go through my week and I plan out everything that I have to do for Disney clients. And I try to really schedule like 2 to 3 days after work that I just come home and work, and then a couple days that I go to the gym and have some me time and time with my kids and things like that. But I am pretty much working from 5 in the morning until 5 or 6 at night most nights, you know, if you kind of averaged it throughout the week. But again, I love it. It's totally doable. It's just a matter of how hard do you want to work? You know what I mean? Like, some days I think, like, I really miss being a stay-at-home mom. Like, over the summer, I'm just being a travel planner, and it's been really nice to kind of just like breathe a little bit. So that's my thoughts on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and I'll definitely answer them below.